Okay, so for the rest of these jets, I think I'm going to start with the idle screw. Now this came with two springs, and I'm just lining that up there. You can see it go there. And now that I'm looking at it, this requires an O-ring, again, that didn't come with this kit. So let me pull out the old O-ring. I have it in here. Get some of these larger parts out. There they are. You don't want to put these carburetors together if you don't have an O-ring on those. Okay, so here's the O-ring. You can see how small it is. Just dropped it. Again, I'm just going to get it wet. Slide it on here. And then you just want to kind of roll it over that screw there. I'm having a little issue with that, so let me get that on, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I got it on there, and I don't like to use a pick to put these on, but I was kind of forced to, and I basically just went in here just enough to move it over there, and I was able to slide it down on it. So when you're putting these O-rings on, just take your time, especially if you have to do that. Okay, and then we'll slide this spring on. That doesn't fit. Neither one of those springs fit. But I don't think it needs to. I think it goes on here. It's pretty big. I think that goes on the other one. There we go. I think we're good there. So you can see how I put that on there. And we'll just screw that down. I'm going to screw it down till it stops. I'm just going to leave it there for now. Here's our air mixture. There's no O-ring that goes on this. It'll have this rubber thing on it. However, there's this little washer that goes on there. And then you put your spring on there. We're going to put that in here. I'm going to flip it over this way. Sorry, you can't see it until we get it. There we go. I'm going to screw this down till it stops. I'm not going to do it snug. You just screw it in until it stops. And it just stopped right there. And then I'm going to come out 2 1/4 turns, I believe is what it was before. Typically you bring it out 2 1/2 turns. So I'm going to actually do 2 1/2 turns. So there's a half. There's a 1 1/2, 2 1/2. And I'm going to stop. Now that I'm thinking about it, so I'm going to stick my finger in here and feel the end of this idle screw. I'm going to unscrew that until I feel it go inside. There we go. That way when I put it together to set the idle, I'm good to go. And that's all we have on this side. On the other side, we still have the choke and the altitude adjustment. And I believe the choke will go in first. And there is an O-ring on here, so it looks like there's a new O-ring that will fit on there. So I'm going to take this old one off. And I'm going to have to use my pick a little bit. When I do this, I'm going to turn this because I don't want to actually poke the O-ring. I just want to get up underneath it. And you can see I'm able to lift it off of there, out of its groove. And I save these because if you're ever doing a project and need an O-ring, if you're able to save these, more power to you. I think we're up enough to use my fingernail. Yeah, so you'll break your fingernail before you break the brass there. So here's the old O-ring and here's a new one. This one's a little bit fatter. So is that one. It looks like they're the same size. I'll set the old one there. I just get this wet. I just put it in my mouth. And you just kind of thread this on and roll it down, so we're good to go there. We'll slide the choke in here. We're going to screw this down. Don't cross thread this. Okay, it stops right there. I'm just going to put just a little bit of a wrench on there. Not much at all. Just to make sure it doesn't come off. You don't want to reef down too hard on that. And we got this one. And it's the same deal with this. There's an O-ring on here that I'm going to take off. Put this other one on. Yep. Fell back down there. I apologize if this is running long, but sometimes you can't anticipate things. You just roll it on there. Now this is keyed. You can see it's like a half thing there, and if you look in the carburetor, it's like a half moon thing there, so you just want to line that up. Slide it in there. And you can see that that's working. And the same thing, I'm just going to put just a little bit, not much. I got it to where it stopped, and I just want to snug it. We're good there. This is the cap that was on that. And then it's got this pin, so I'm going to try get this back on there. There we go. I don't know if it's supposed to be there, but it was on here, so. Okay, so now the choke. So I kept everything together. I haven't cleaned this at all. So I'm going to slide this hook in there. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then just screw that back down. If I can get that to line up. Sorry, I gotta take this off camera for a second. Okay. This has a lock washer on it. You don't have to reef down on this. That's a little too tight, I think. Back that off a little bit. There we go. You can see that's working like it should. You can see this hole in here. When I choke it, there we go. Alright, now this hose, I believe this is supposed to run to the air box. It was just on here like this. That's all it was. This was on the gas inlet, and you can see I have another filter to put on there, but that was on there. I'll deal with that later. But for now, that's the entire carburetor. It's rebuilt parts mostly. Oh, I almost forgot. There's this other large O-ring. This goes around here. When I took this off the bike, the one that was on here just disintegrated and fell apart. So I'm glad it came with a new one. Next, we have a new needle. Of course, that's on the bike. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just put it on there. It comes with a new, whatever that is called. And then it's got the little clip, so you can put it on whichever one. I would put it on whichever one your bike currently has if you're going to replace this. I'm going to replace mine, but not till I bring the bike in the garage. Alright, so that's the carburetor rebuild, and I hope this has helped somebody. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, send me a message. I'd be glad to answer. I usually answer emails pretty quickly, so when we come back, I will drain the oil on the tank or in the engine, and we'll see if we can't get this thing started. So I do have new filters, in case you're not sure what they're supposed to look like. New blade on that one. I bought a 3-pack off of eBay. This is all it is. If you've got a bike that's been sitting a while, this is a paper filter. I wouldn't leave the old one in. Just pull it out. These things are cheap. I think I got these for like $9 for a pack of 3. Alright. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. We'll see if we can't get this thing started.